And that's why he was saying when he was in Sagana, explaining why we differed. Oh, did you ever hear Rigathi defend the health system? Did you ever hear him defend the education system? Did you ever hear him talking about the housing program? I told him, give me a break. I cannot defend corruption. I said, Mr. President, excuse me, forgive me. I could not help you to defend SHA. This is outright theft of public funds. Not hospitals and stealing it. And this is the money that is doing empowerment programs by Mr. Soprano. This is the money that William Ruto is using to bribe people in Statehouse. Where do you think this money is coming from? I heard him asking the governor of Mandera, not governor of Mandera. He was saying there is a governor who has paid 150 million. Where did he get it from? I want to pose you the question, Mr. William Ruto. This money you are bribing people. This one you have given Soprano to bribe people. Where are you getting it from? This is money for SHA. Now Aden Duale is telling us, an abusing journalist, Yvonne, that we have shut down the hospitals. How do you shut down hospitals that do not exist? Please, these people, the impunity, the kind of contempt they have for the people of Kenya. A minister telling the people of Kenya they have discovered that money is being paid to non-existent hospitals, ghost hospitals. And his reply is that, no, we have shut down those hospitals. Where is the money? What measures has he announced today? If these hospitals were non-existent, if these hospitals were not compliant, and they have been shut because they are not compliant, has he announced how we shall recover this money? I would have expected William Ruto, the new champion of fighting corruption in Kenya, to talk about this. Instead, he's only talking about 10 million, and he's complaining it has not reached the MPs who are his friends. That is his only concern, that 10 million was bribed, it did not reach the MPs. William Ruto, why are you not speaking about this? Duale should be at home. You know?
What
and
for?
We are saying,
what for?
What would have happened? You people are very imaginative. With the list they are showing who has been paid, you have sent your correspondents all over the country to see whether the hospitals exist. And because they don't exist, yeah, that is why they have removed, those details from the website, so that Kenyans do not interrogate, they do not audit the theft of public funds.
And then there is also the affordable housing, again, something else that you touted. In fact, you were on record as telling everybody that this is something that you should pay up. What changed along the way?
Initially, when I supported this program.
Yes.
William Ruto is very convincing. He's a very convincing guy. And he's very deceptive. Extremely deceptive. He had convinced all of us that this housing program, affordable, was a good thing for Kenya. That it will create employment for our young people. That this program, we need slum upgrading, we need to dignify our people, blah, blah, blah. It sounded very nice. Only to realize later, it's nonsense.
At what point did you make this realization?
After one year. It's when I started seeing what's going on. To start with, when he forced people now to have the housing levy. Because the question people were asking me, and I asked him.
What was the idea for you in your mind with this?
Initially, we thought it's a genuine thing. Only to realize that it's about business. That William Ruto has seen a business opportunity to sell cement, to sell steel, and to sell iron sheets. Again, to partner with developers to make money. And for that program to succeed, it needed a source of money. So he had to create a housing levy so that the money is flowing. And this money has been put in Sidan Bank, a bank that he bought immediately we came into office. Okay? Sidan Bank is level 3, is tier 3. According to the central bank regulations, all money belonging to parastatals and governments must be put in tier 1. Tier 1 is Cooperative Bank, Equity, Barclays, those big banks. But he told central bank to allow Sidan to receive money from SHA and also money from housing. So that bank has grown, from a profit of 300 million in 1 year to 1.2 billion.
So I want to understand this. You're saying, so at what point did you realize SHA, according to you, wasn't the idea that you needed
the first 1 year.
Housing in the first 1 year.
The first 1 year of our administration is where it started becoming very clear to me that this William Ruto was not a genuine man. He had conned us, he was deceptive, and he's a businessman, and he's not interested in the country.
And yet, Mr. Gachagua, you stayed and then got impeached, and it is only after your impeachment that you started to speak out about all of these things, about organizing meetings.
I spoke before.
So my question to you is, you say you are not a yes man, and that's why the president doesn't like you.
Yes.
You say you realized that, you know, SHA and affordable housing had issues with all of these. Were you ever going to say some of these things before you were impeached?
Yes.
Would you have continued to serve in the administration of President William Ruto? I asked you about some of these things a little earlier. You said, well, what could I do? He was president. You could have resigned, Mr. Gachagua, if you have such grave issues.
I couldn't have resigned.
Why not?
The framers of the 2010 Constitution are very wise. Why did they want a president and a deputy elected? So that they can check each other. That's what I was doing. I was checking from inside until a point he couldn't stand it, and he decided to get rid of me. What happened?
Mr. Gachagua, you were not very successful with checking him.
No, I was. Let me tell you. Let me down.
Well, tell us.
That's why. That's why. I went to cabinet and opposed the finance bill of 2024. I did.
2023.
2024.
Okay.
I said no, and it was put on record. And he was mad with me. And I went in public meetings asking the MPs to listen to the ground. It was a way of checking. Because when you are deputy president and there's a finance bill, and when people ask me, what do you think about this finance bill? I say, listen to the ground. The people did not want it. I told the MPs, listen to the ground. And the president was mad with me. Finally, when it came to cabinet, I went and opposed the demolitions and evictions of Nairobi River. If you remember, it was one of the charges in the Senate against me. I opposed when I was deputy president. I did not oppose when I left office, Yvonne. I opposed when I was in office. And it was a charge of insubordinating the president because of saying no. Our manifesto was clear that we shall never carry out demolitions and evictions until we have settled the people.
Okay.
When the Gen Z protests came, Yvonne, I want to put it on record so that we are speaking from the same page. I opposed abductions and killings. And when the president insisted, and our kids were shot and killed on conference in Mombasa, and castigated President William Ruto and the Director of National Intelligence Service for abductions and extrajudicial killings, I am not doing it because I'm outside, Yvonne. I was doing it from inside, and that is why the president now could not stand it anymore. In fact, it's after my press conference on June 26th is when he made a decision he must get rid of me, and it took him about 4 months. He started putting things into motion, and I told the president, I think it was on June 22nd, when I heard it, I have 2 young boys, you have young children. How can we kill these people? Simply because they are saying the finance bill is not acceptable. Why can't we listen to them? He said, my friend, you are in government, you do what we are saying. So the subsequent meeting for National Security Council, I was not invited because I would have opposed the operation. So when it happened, on June 25th, the president called a press conference at night. He did not invite me, and he said this was treasonous, these are criminals, they'll pay for it. I was mad, because I knew these children were innocent and they were simply clamoring for their rights and the rights of the people of Kenya. And what happened, Yvonne, is that nature abhors vacuum. The minute the president captured parliament, the minute he compromised Raila Odinga, there was nobody else to speak for the people of Kenya. And since nature abhors vacuum, the Gen Z just came up, because that's the way nature operates, and they started speaking for the people of Kenya. So I made a decision. I flew to Mombasa. I called a press conference, and that marked the end of the relation between me and President William Ruto. We never spoke again. We just pretend we are speaking, but we never met one-to-one. We never spoke on telephone. We were speaking on messages until the day I left office. So you cannot say, Yvonne, that I spoke because I left. I started speaking. For 1 year, I was speaking from inside. And that's why he was accusing me. You know, he was telling me to defend Adani. I told him I will not. He says, go to the TV stations and defend the university model. I said, I will not. Because the thing is not good. You know, I was in a funeral in Kitale, and the Senator for Kisii, Richard Oyonka, really attacked the government because of Adani. And I spoke last. I did not say anything. I talked about other things. I left. And the president's PA called me all manner of names. Wewe ni mujinga sana, you are very stupid. You are deputy president, you spoke last. Somebody has attacked the government and you cannot defend. What kind of a deputy are you? I said, my friend, tell the president to call me and tell him I cannot defend corruption. Adani is corruption, I will not defend. Then he said, utatuona. The rest is history. Yvonne, I am a credible man, I'm a man of honor. And I was prepared to face the consequences of standing with what is right and what is true.
I want us to speak about those protests for a moment and the state of rule of law and order in the country. An attempt at charging some of those who were involved in the protests using terror charges in the terror charge sheet. What are your thoughts as to where we are now, the state of the nation now, following the protests, in terms of, you know, the state of the rule of law? There's been talk and questions of having dialogue at this point. What is your thought on the state of rule of law following, you know, everything we've seen with the protests in the country, and what the way forward or the way out of that impasse looks like?
Yvonne, I saw the president gazetting Katiba Day, you know, and I was flabbergasted as to how foolish William Ruto thinks. Freedoms in the Bill of Rights have been taken away from the people of Kenya. Yet, and I have said many times, when the Gen Z started becoming very vocal, the president authorized the formation of a killer squad of 100 service and given very high-skilled training in abductions, killings, and cover-up. And that is a squad that has caused havoc in this country. And it works for gross violation of human rights. And what is sad, Yvonne, and this matter was raised with me in America, and I heard Akina Wetangula saying I went to talk bad about my country. I never talked bad about my country. I love my country. Kenya is a great country, and I told the people in America as much. But we have poor leadership. We have bad leaders. What is shocking, Yvonne, is after all this, a president who is elected by the people, a country with a constitution, a country that has a very strong Bill of Rights, can publicly issue orders for people to be shot in the leg and then taken to the hospital on their way to jail. It's a level of impunity. And I'm very happy that in the bill in the Senate in America, that issue has been raised. Abductions and extradition. Basaba. The state took over the protest and sent criminal goons to beat people, burn and torch. That needs to protect our territorial integrity and make sure that the country is safe. But to make sure that these young people are intimidated and they have no voice and they will never again hold the government to account, they are charged with the terrorism. So as we speak, as we said of his address to the United Nations, he's going there to the United Nations General Assembly. He is trying to appease the international community because there is a lot of concern about extrajudicial killings and abductions. He is trying to hoodwink the international community by ordering Professor Makau Mutua to set up a team to compensate victims of extrajudicial killings and abductions.
That team has been formally constituted today. What do you think of the role of that, compensating victims of protests and dating
good.
as far back?
I think it is good. I have ordered the disbandment of the killer squad of 101 officers who have been abducting young children and killing Kenyans. Number 3, I give an undertaking to the people of Kenya. That under my presidency, never again shall we have abductions and extrajudicial killings. Number 4, all those officers responsible, SADMENT cannot compensate people it has killed. To get to know who are the possible and potential witnesses for cases of crimes against humanity that we are taking to The Hague. So we are saying, if William Ruto is genuine, he must do what I've told you. He must first call a press conference and own up to the killings and the abductions.
All right, before
2, Yvonne, he must disband.
All right, before
2, Yvonne, he must disband that killer squad that has been doing it.
Okay.
And then he must de-gazette that team, pass this responsibility and the funds to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, which is neutral. Because how do you get people who killed your child are the same people who are coming to compensate you? Even in terms of the way you relate. You know, the same person who shot your child is the one saying, oh, Mama, I'm sorry we killed your son. Yeah? Here is 100,000 to compensate you. How does it work? Let us have an independent body, the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, to be able to do it.
I want to talk about, and to switch gears a little bit and, talk about some politics for a moment and maybe go back to your return from the United States. You've been having the, what you call united opposition. Mm-hmm. We didn't see your colleagues at the airport to welcome you back.
They were not supposed to come.
Okay.
This was, I was just coming home. Mm-hmm. And I think when Kipchumba Murkomen threatened to arrest me, my supporters decided to come to the airport to make sure that I'm safe. It was a family affair. Of course, the government organized to attack me, and those were policemen in civilian, accompanied with goons. They actually wanted to kill me at Pipeline. They took a big boulder and dropped it on my car. I escaped death by a whisker. And I think they wanted to kill me. And what Murkomen should know, that if he had killed me, there will be no country. There will be a civil war. And I don't know whether they know what they are playing around with. This country, where it has reached, people should not have such jokes. Those are jokes that are not good. We have a country. Yvonne. And myself, what I did, we were supposed to go through Jogoo Road all the way and greet people in the Kamukonji.
Yes.
Me, I'm a very responsible leader. When I assessed the situation, and I realized that a lot of force had been mobilized, policemen in civilians with guns, accompanied by goons with knives and pangas and rocks, and a civilian aircraft with policemen was hovering in the air and coordinating with the civilian officers on the ground, giving them our movement. Like I wanted to pass through express highway. The police blocked me so that I go to where the trap had been set. When I analyzed the situation, I said, let's cancel. Your colleagues, asked them, you were with them there. They were beaten. Their cameras were taken. The money was taken from them. They were threatened with the knives. A lot of violence was meted against us, And it is a threat, by the way, even events. Of course, he had credible intelligence there will be violence because they are the ones who are organizing the violence. He was predicting the same violence that he is organizing. So what I'm saying is, when I was away, my team went to Murang'a. They were attacked by police with guns and goons. Again, they went to Gilgil. They were attacked by police and gangs. They went to Subukia. The violence that we have seen against DCP and myself is being carried out by the state. And I must say today, because it's important, I cannot report William Ruto to the police because they are under him. I cannot report the police to themselves. I cannot report Murkomen to the DCI because he is under him. So in the situation that I face with my members, I can only report them to the people of Kenya. You know, sometimes I hear Ruto saying, oh, go with William Ruto to the police. How can you go to report Kipchumba Murkomen to the police? You can only, what I can do in my position is just tell the people of Kenya what is happening.
The National Police Service is independent?
It's not independent,
it's
because
not,
how can it be independent when Murkomen is telling them shoot to kill? When William Ruto is saying shoot in the leg? They are just pretending that they are independent. They are not. That guy called Douglas Kaja, he is from my home. And I told him the other day, you are a potential customer of ICC. Remember what happened to General Ali? William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen will use you. What is happening? I told him, Kaja, he's from my village. One of these days, you'll be in ICC. I want to tell these county commanders in Nairobi and elsewhere that we have set up a team to document all. The sub-county commander Embakasi, when we form government, they'll have to answer. Because why are they allowing police and goons to attack people? The county commander Muranga, the sub-county commander Kegumo, the sub-county commander Gilgil, Subukia, you will be held to account. So, and what happened in Central Police Station is a living example and testimony. The DIG Langat told people to torture Albert Ojwang. DIG has been absolved from blame. He's going back to work this week. The OCS, Central Police Station, the sergeant on duty, the corporal on duty. I want to talk to you as a father, as a leader in this country. Please stop being misused by William Ruto and Murkomen. Always be guided by 4 documents in the pursuit, in the course of their duty. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Penal Code Chapter 6.3, the Criminal Procedure Code Cap 7.5, and the Evidence Act Cap 8.0. With those 4 documents, you can stand your ground.
Okay.
But I want to say, if the government has decided to stop the one-term movement, they want to assassinate Rigathi Gachagua by using police in civilians and then blame it on goons. Because in 2024, I was attacked by goons, covered by police in Limuru. Up to today, nobody has ever been arrested. On 28th December, I was attacked by a police officer in Shamata. Nobody has ever been arrested. On 6th April, I was attacked by goons and police in the Mweki, inside a PCA church. Nobody has ever been arrested. You know? Another day, I was attacked somewhere else. Now, I want to set up a thread where that Rigathi Gachagua is always attacked by goons, so that one day, police in civilian can shoot him dead, and then say it's the goons, and then order an investigation to arrest the goons when he is dead. What I want to tell them is, and I want to be very cautious, I want to say, it's important I say, because I have seen the thread of what is happening. I want to tell William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen, please, don't ban this country. This is our,
okay.
Thinking that you are stopping the one-term movement, and create some more in this country. Please don't.
We will also talk about that one-term movement in a moment. But, you know, there was something you said a little earlier that when we form government, you are doing. Are you interested in running for President of the Republic of Kenya?
I am a candidate to be President of the Republic of Kenya. I am qualified. I have support. I am looking for more support. And I'll be on the ballot as a candidate for president.
Let's talk about you being on the ballot. How will that happen with your impeachment?
In The Hague, he was elected as president.
They were not convicted. They were facing charges at the ICC.
Nobody has been convicted.
Do you think that's a fair comparison? The charges they were facing at the ICC.
What the Constitution of Kenya says. What the Constitution of Kenya says. What I just want to tell you what it is.
For a moment. Can I ask the question?
Okay.
Based on the laws of this country, faced charges at the Senate and were found guilty of some, not all, but enough to impeach you as Deputy President.
John Weluke, okay? He filed an appeal before the High Court. When the elections came, the law is very clear that the remedies available in law. Okay? Rigathi Gachagua has a matter before the High Court. It has not even been heard. It needs to go to the High Court, Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, until the Supreme Court says Rigathi Gachagua was impeached properly.
And if that happens, if the Supreme Court,
I'm saying if the Supreme,
and that's what I'm saying.
If it says yes,
if you go all the way,
that's what I'm saying.
And the Supreme Court says upholds your impeachment.
If it does, yes. If the Supreme Court opposes my impeachment, then I cannot run.
Okay.
Rigathi Gachagua remains free to file for office. And I don't want to discuss matters before court, but even the judges will take judicial notice of what is going on and how this guy called Rigathi was impeached. You know, the things are there. I don't want. That's what I'm saying.
Because I don't want us to.
But you see, you are the one. You are the one who brought things that were before the Senate. Here, those speeches were before the Senate.
No.
I was tried on the same issue, so you are trying me the second time.
No. Those speeches were not as a result of the Senate. They were as a result of what you had said before.
They were there.
They were at the Senate.
You were trying me a second time.
Was I trying you a second time?
Because you were asking me to make comments on matters I've already made comments before.
No, we're holding you to account for statements that you make, Mr. Rigathi.
Before I exhaust all the remedies available to me by law, and you know the law is very good. It gives somebody enough remedies so that you get fairness. Fairness, let me tell you what they say in law. They say it is okay for a guilty person to be freed, but it's unacceptable for an innocent man to be jailed.
And we shall wait to see what the court say about that.
That's why.